So this is the expensive side of Wear OS. This is of course the Emporio Armani Smartwatch 3, and let's see what it's all about. Thanks for watching 9to5 Google on YouTube. Be sure to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then enable notifications with the bell icon so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. If you weren't aware, the Armani Smartwatch 3 is actually a continuation of the Armani connected line, hence the 3 in the name, and it retains much of the familiar traits, but now in a much more fitness-focused physique. There is also now a dash of colour, and gone is the metallic bracelet strap in favour of a silicone band that is far more comfortable in everyday scenarios. I found it to be one of the most comfortable straps I've worn so far in 2019, but it is worth noting that if you have very small wrists, then you may need to look elsewhere, as I'm already on the second to last clasp and I have a reasonably normal sized wrist. As for the crown though, it has a familiar shape, but it now has colourful borders and the main frame is black around the display for a stealthy approach compared to other Armani Wear OS smartwatches. I must admit I love how thin and lightweight this is, especially when fitted. As for the buttons, the twist style returns and the 2 other buttons are nice and spongy with a neat click when fully pressed. At the side there is also room for a speaker, which means you can take and place calls. Alternatively, you can play music out loud. The speaker isn't bad at all, but it's not exactly great. That said, if you take a call, it's perfectly clear and it reaches a nice volume. Music sounds acceptable, but I wouldn't suggest playing music out loud from your wristwatch. The 1.28-inch AMOLED display is sizable for a watch that measures in at 42mm, and at 390 by 390 pixels it's sharp, but most importantly it's clear and bright. Once you disable the auto brightness, that is. The internals have also had a bump, and you get the Snapdragon Wear 3100 chipset paired with 1GB of RAM, which makes the biggest difference in day-to-day performance. While apps can sometimes seem to take a little while to load, the main Wear OS experience is solid, and despite the odd minor slowdown, is the best I've had the smartwatch OS running on any hardware to date. You do, however, get some pre-installed apps in the form of Spotify and a cardiogram, and although they have little to no effect on performance, it's worth noting that they are there when you power on the watch for the first time. You also get NFC on the Armani Smartwatch 3, which although I've used quite a few times at self-service supermarket checkouts, I've now disabled as the PIN code became pretty annoying after a while, as you have to have it enabled at all times, and of course that is nothing new on Wear OS. So as for the battery life, this is the biggest sore point, but it's by no means terrible. I can get through a day with no issues using GPS and having heart rate tracking on with intermittent NFC payments, but I will always charge overnight because I cannot get more than 24 hours of usage on a single charge. Turning on the battery saver mode disables a ton of things like the speaker, GPS and Bluetooth, which defeats the purpose a little bit. However, topping up with the flimsy little charger is quite quick and not a hassle, as I have a load of cables lying around now. Overall, the Armani Smartwatch 3 is a great package, but with a pretty high price tag that might put some of you out there off. The suggested retail price is $375, which is really high, but you are paying for a fashion-focused fitness smartwatch from a reputable fashion house, and there aren't a great deal of those around to pick from. For that reason, I think it's worth a look if you want a combo of elegance, performance and practicality. With all that said though, I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always though, thanks for watching. This is Damien 9to5 Google, and I will speak to you later.